Hi and warm welcome to today's pod episode with Shift Your Energy by Meditation Jam with Rinné. And I'm really happy to share a beautiful talk that I had with Sue Elliott, or as she's known, my angel coach. And Sue has a long experience in working as a coach, a writer, a speaker. She has launched a personal transformational magazine, and now she has written a book called My Angel Coach, Receive Your Divine Guidance and Feel the Angel's Love, which contains 63 messages to support and uplift you as a reader. And in our talk, Sue shares her story. She shares some messages from the angels, and she also shares information about her book. And she has a gift for you. So please make sure that you listen all the way through. And I have to say, and this doesn't happen often, but when Sue is sharing an angel message at the end of this podcast, as well as the extended version for all you Substack subscribers, I could see that, and between when Sue starts and until she ends, there is a heightened vibration or energy or noise that is coming in the frequency that you can see in the program. I don't think you will hear it because the program is editing that out, but just know that that was such a clear view of the angels being with us as she is guiding us through these messages. So I'm really happy to share this, and there are links to where you can get Sue's book and her webpage, and please listen to the full podcast to hear your gift from Sue that you can collect. So let's welcome Sue. So warm welcome, Sue. I am so happy to have you here. How are you?
I am well. I am thrilled to be here with you.
So you were actually the first one on my show to talk about angels. And we are going to talk about your book, and we are going to talk about angels. But first, I always love to hear my guest's story of their journey and how it came that they started what you are doing to inspire the listener. So if you would like, please share your story.
Oh, thank you. Well, I was always sensitive. I remember being like 7 years old and wishing that I was more calloused and I could move through life more easily, like everybody else seemed to. But I grew up in Southern California in the car culture, and I loved cars from when I was a little girl. And I ended up going to college and being an English major, right? Studying poetry at an Ivy League school. So very intellectual, figure things out between my ears. I tend to attract people like that. I call us recovering intellectuals. And I ended up working on car magazines. I worked on business magazines for a couple of years and then thought, well, if I'm going to read this thing 20 times before it goes to print, I'd love to read something that I'm really excited about. So I started working on automotive enthusiast magazines.
Oh,
So
wow.
very like how to do it yourself, right? And I was writing articles for a lot of these, and I became the editor in chief. And so I was doing articles on how to rebuild your first engine and how to change from drum brakes to disc brakes and, how to recover the seats in your car and all kinds of fun stuff. And meeting all these really passionate entrepreneurs, people who followed their love, their passion into work. And I loved being in passion industry. And I was actually a spokesperson for the automotive aftermarket, talking on a national stage, like on morning shows and radio shows and at trade shows, taking media on tours and talking about why you would want to make your car more fun, more comfortable, more beautiful. And I started getting messages that wouldn't shut up until I delivered the message. So I had been on a personal transformation journey throughout this time, like really starting in the 90s when I discovered Marianne Williamson's book, A Return to Love. Then I sort of went back to the real world, right? And went back to my normal job as a magazine consultant, launching new magazines for the newsstand. And I was with a bunch of girlfriends at a psychic fair, actually. We were having tea and sitting around and chatting. And one woman said, I can't afford whatever it was she was talking about. I was told, tell her not to use that, never to say that again. And I was like, come on, I barely know this woman. And they're like, tell her to never say that again. They just kept saying it. I couldn't hear what everybody else was talking about anymore. And I was like, I'm really sorry to interrupt, but I have to deliver this message. And I asked her, I grabbed her hands and I was like, please don't ever use the phrase, I can't afford that again.
Yeah.
And she was sort of stunned and went, okay. And then people went back to talking. And this started to happen more and more. And by this time, I'd had coaches, I'd been in group coaching programs, I knew a lot about this stuff. And I eventually launched a personal transformation magazine where I brought through messages that were really divine downloads that I wrote and brought in other experts to share, how to release judgment and how to live without worry and fear and all these beautiful messages for people. And it was all a sort of training by the angels. Eventually, they would have me go out to eat by myself and sit at the bar at a restaurant and order a glass of wine and an appetizer and chat with whoever was next to me. And inevitably, there would be only one other person, and they would be going through some major life transition. Like,
Wow.
do I stay in my marriage or do I leave my marriage? Do I stay in my job or change careers? And we would chat and we'd share wine and we'd have a wonderful time. And by the end of the conversation, they'd say, I feel so clear now. Thank you. And then I would never see this person again. It was like the angels had made this person to train me to do the work that they wanted me to do or that I came to do.
Wonderful. Yeah.
So we call it angel coaching because, well, a few years ago, one of my clients said, I tell people you're my angel coach. I was like, that's so perfect because I could never really describe what I was doing up until then. I do, it's sort of my own unique flavor of life coaching, business coaching, energy healing, and delivering guidance from the angels. And about 2 years ago, I started slowing down and retiring from the one-on-one coaching. And the angels guided me to put all of that into a book.
Yeah.
So this is essentially me in book form. And it is the all of the practices that we shared with so many people over the years, 20 years of angel coaching, how to receive your divine guidance, how loved and supported you are by the angels and the divine, how to be with your emotions in a very different way from what a lot of people teach.
Mm. So I just have 100 million questions now.
Good. Let's start.
Yeah. So I'm just thinking, when you started your journey, how did it come to you? Was it like a vision or a sound, or you just felt it through your body?
Oh, I'm so glad you asked. When I was a little girl, I used to have dreams that were exactly what was going to happen in school the next day.
Mm.
It freaked me out. So I turned off clairvoyance for a long time and I didn't see things. And even now, I'm more clairsentient. So I feel it in my body. I can feel when energy is shifting with other people. I can feel when something gets stuck in their throat or when, they get a knot in their stomach, which is super helpful. And I hear a lot, so clairaudient, where the angels will tell me what to ask or what story to share. And oftentimes they'll tell me to ask something that I'm like, that is just so weird. Why would I ever say
Yeah.
that? And of course they're always right, but I still argue with them.
Yeah. And have there been time where you have, because from my journey, it's been, I started in 2004, and I always say it's like 10 years that was just magical. And I was just, taking in all the information. And then came the 10 year of shadow parts where I had to put all this information to practice. That was not as fun. And then it's like now I'm in like expanding. But have you had periods where you felt like, is this really what I'm to do, or is it true? And, doubting the whole thing.
Oh, yes. It was more of a dark night of the soul when I stopped doing the magazines. So up until that point, I did magazines for about 30 years. And when the landscape in publishing changed a lot in around 2013, 2014. It was already shrinking, the amount of space stores had for magazines and the number of newsstands that were independent. And when the last magazine I was working on got killed, the Personal Transformation magazine, which was actually called Law of Attraction, then I was starting to develop a new magazine that would go to business leaders, to CEOs and presidents, and bringing this personal transformation into the C-suite. And I was super excited. I was building my network of business experts and learning what really was needed. And then the publishing company I had been working with for many, many years as a consultant, their board of directors decided they were only going to sell magazines that would sell well in Walmart. And a $16 business magazine was never going to sell well in Walmart. And so the general manager of the company and I had a good cry together. And I went, okay, I'm not a magazine editor anymore. I felt into what else there was to do. But in the meantime, the publishing company was killing half of their magazines. So they were substantially shrinking what they were going to do and focusing on automotive, which I had already done, was kind of past that, and, sort of male enthusiast magazines. So if you had asked me at that point in my life, who are you? I would have said I'm a magazine editor and writer. Like, it was my identity. And that had to be stripped of me. And that was not pleasant. So
Yeah.
I probably spent a year, maybe even 2 years, where people would say, "What do you do?" And I would say, "I used to be a magazine editor and writer." It was like, I don't know who I am anymore. And meanwhile, the angels were putting me into all these different situations to learn so many things that have been really helpful with clients. So I ended up in my then boyfriend's business. We became partners in an agency that got products into major retailers in the United States. So I'd also had a PR agency. I'd had marketing businesses up to this point, also kind of parallel to the editorial work. And so here I am, like, creating presentations for our sales team to take into Walmart and Home Depot and these major stores, and learning all kinds of new skills, learning about packaging, learning about how to get people to buy products once they're in the store, learning how to market things on YouTube. And now, of course, I'm using all of that stuff to share about the book, but also I ended up working as a C-level leader in a couple of technology startups and have brought that, like, project management experience and managing a software development team. And as I've moved along the journey, all these things that felt very much nonlinear have been so clearly divinely guided
Mm.
to give me the contacts that a client would need to take their business to the next level, or the experience to really understand and ask questions to help them open up and receive their guidance. So the angels want me to encourage everybody who's listening to not worry so much about the path, right? Does it seem on the path or off the path? They want to say it's all path and it's all divinely guided. And the more that we can relax and enjoy whatever is in front of us that we're doing right now, the easier it is to receive our guidance, and the easier it is to allow the gifts and the blessings and the resources that the divine and the angels want to flow to us.
Oh, I love that. It was so wonderful to hear. And especially because we get so stuck in our linear path and how we are to do it. And we make plans and things. And of course, plans are good. But when we are old and we can look back and just say, wow, it actually took me to where I am today, but I would never have guessed it. And to have that knowledge early on would have been so lovely.
Oh, yes. And that's the thing. We make plans, and, the old joke, you make plans and God laughs, right? Because the angels, the divine, have this very high level perspective. They can see all the moving parts and pieces in the universe. And we only see a very small sliver of it from our ground level perspective. So the more we can make plans broadly, gently, the more our intentions can be how we would like to feel, what we would love to experience life as, the more we allow the angels to surprise and delight us with the unfolding. And that's my favorite angel prayer, let's say, surprise and delight me. I
Yeah.
don't know what could be even better than this, but you do.
Yeah. I also like that about you when you're writing, or the angels, but that they want to bring in all this joy. Because it is a little bit missed in our society. It's if you have too much fun, it's like you're not serious. But it has absolutely nothing to do with each other, I believe.
Right. And so it's funny that they're really guiding me to say this, because so many people are seeking joy as if it's a destination. And some people don't resonate with joy. And
Mm.
they want to really call this out specifically because different people on the planet right now have different energies that are very valuable to bring to this planet. So there are many light workers all over the globe and around the planet who are here anchoring in different frequencies that are helping humanity rise up into a new level of consciousness. And so some people aren't really about joy. They're more about peace and calm. Other people are that energy of unconditional love, which may feel very joyful, but it may also feel very comforting and soothing and nurturing. So if joy is not your compass, not your true north, please don't make that wrong or bad about yourself. It's really at this stage about letting go of everything that's not authentic to who
Mm.
we are as a being, as a soul, as a higher self.
Oh, that's so important to accept the diversity of all different parts that we need, and such a good reminder, for
Thank you.
sure.
Yes. And that's our definition of diversity is really about seeing and appreciating each of our superpowers or gifts. And there's not two beings the same on this planet or anywhere in the cosmos. We each are a unique aspect of the divine. And so the more we can let go of wanting to be like anybody else or comparing ourselves to anybody else. And we understand there's been massive programming encouraging us to do that, and even well meaning parents saying, why can't you be more like your sister? But the more we can see and appreciate our own uniqueness, the easier it is to see and appreciate other people's uniqueness. And
Yeah,
sometimes it goes the other way. The more we can see and appreciate others' uniqueness, maybe the more we can start to appreciate our own uniqueness too.
yeah, to be inspired.
Allowed. The more we show up as our truth, right? And I don't mean truth like I have to speak what I think every moment of every day, because oftentimes we're not intended to say a thing.
Mm.
But the more we can show up as who we really are, whether that is joy or peace or nurturing, starting with self nurturing, the more we give others permission to do the same, to put down the masks and put down the armor and begin to co create this world that is based in divine unconditional love.
Beautiful. Beautiful. So right now, I feel we are in such a shifting energy that is going on. Do you get daily messages from the angels, or can you, for yourself or your surrounding or the world, and can you say, okay, not now, I'm driving?
I love that. The messages are usually appropriate to whatever I'm doing in the moment, so I don't
Oh,
really have to say, "Not now, hold that thought," although sometimes they wake me up in the middle of the night because they can
oh
get my
wow.
divided attention, but less so lately. I guess that's a good sign that I'm paying attention more during the day.
Mm.
They do wanna say that our focus is very important. So, many people are obsessed with the news or social media, and there are people who are meant to engage with that. That's part of their divine purpose, let's say. That's part of their journey. But likely, people who are tuning into your podcast are not those people. They are more likely the light worker community, whether they think of themselves that way or not. They are here to co create the new.
Mm.
So the angels really want to say there are people whose divine work on this planet is to keep the old systems functioning for as long as possible.
Ah,
So we're
okay.
starting to see systems breaking down or, sort of collapsing under the weight of all the bureaucracy or whatever is involved with them programming, subconscious programming, limiting beliefs. And there are people whose job is to keep those things functional for as long as possible because it would not be a very kind and gentle unfolding for humanity if all these things collapsed around us. So the more we can hold that awareness gently, oh, those people are doing their thing, even though it looks like, they're a tax bureaucrat and they're really annoying. The more we can thank you for doing what you're doing, making sure that everything continues to function while we're over here co creating this new collective consciousness of divine unconditional love and ways to show up and be and do in every encounter, every moment of every day. They're both really valuable
Mm.
work. There is no hierarchy of importance. The angels love us all. The divine loves us all. And the more we can keep our powerful focus, which is all of our power in the moment, on where we're going, not in a keeping it off in the future, hope to get there someday kind of way, but how am I feeling right now? Am I experiencing inner harmony or inner turbulence? And if I'm experiencing inner turbulence, being love for myself first. So taking a moment, pausing, soothing, and comforting myself, whether that's with gentle touch or self talk or asking somebody for a hug or calling a coach to talk things through, whatever helps you come back to that inner harmony. Then, when you do whatever it is that you're doing, whether it's parenting or running errands or doing a project for work, when you're coming from that energy of love for yourself first, you're so much more potent. So the
Right.
angels really want to specifically say, if you invest that 5 minutes or even 5 days in coming back to your center and feeling solid and grounded and tuned into your divine guidance, what you accomplish after that will be so much easier, so much faster, so much more potent. You could struggle and strive for 5 years and not accomplish as much as if you spent 5 days coming back to your center and spent 5 hours doing some work. It
Mm.
literally will take you further, accomplish more than years and years of the old way of doing things.
I like that. And I think also that because today, I mean, there's so much happening in the world. Always it's a lot happening in the world. It just right now it feels like it's a lot on all ends kind of feeling. And sometimes I get that, well, as a light worker, and here I am speaking about joy and peace, and someone else is going around in the world not eating, and it feels like, am I focusing on the right thing? As you say, we all have our parts in the net,
Yes.
and not feel like have bad conscience. I mean, we all can be aware, but I am here to do my work and put it into my energy. So it's a tricky one because I mean we get so bombarded with all these things to keep it to take a step back and feel like okay, I'm aware and I'm doing what I can to raise the vibration.
Yes. So the angels want to add the one thing we can do when we start to get triggered by all this noise out there. And noise is there are real things happening and there are scary things happening to people. But becoming debilitated by focusing on that is not going to help anybody.
Yeah,
So, with great love, the angels are encouraging us to send love. Perhaps you've talked on your show about how people gathered in meditation with focused intention, or even just simply gathered in meditation, can affect the energy of very large communities. 30 people meditating outside a city can literally drop the crime rate in that city.
yeah,
So, they want to remind us how powerful we are in doing our little thing that seems like we're not affecting anything. Yet our moment of centeredness, trust, hope, knowing is incredibly powerful. And it really does affect the field and it has such a huge ripple effect. Everyone we come in contact with, we either are kind of shaking up the gunk in them that they're ready to let go of, or we're raising them up to a higher frequency that they were ready to attain. So as you move through the world with this energy, even if the only thing you ever do is attend to your own inner harmony, you are making a difference in the world.
yeah. Good reminder. Your book now, and it's like if steps going through how to open yourself up to speaking with the angels, or please share more about the book.
Oh, yes, absolutely. So it starts with how very loved and supported you are by the angels and the divine, how they're always happy to help. And they're asking me to share the angel delegation statement. So many people pray from this space of lack and need, right? Oh, please, God, I need the money to pay my bills. Or, please make my daughter healthy again. The angels are asking us to do it a little differently. They're asking us to say, thank you, angels, for taking care of, and then you fill in the blank, right? Thank you, angels, for taking care of my daughter. Thank you, angels, for taking care of the bills. Thank you, angels, for taking care of money. Thank you, angels, for taking care of me. The reason they ask us to say it this way, we're delegating to them, right? So the idea is to hand over your worries and fears to someone who can see the big picture better than you can. And when we say thank you for taking care of it, we're acknowledging that they're already on it. And they
Mm.
want us to do that because they are already on it. It reminds us that if we can relax, they're taking care of everything for us. But the more we get tangled up in our own worries and fears, the harder it is for us to receive what they're trying to bring us because it's not a match to the worries and fears, right? So when you're running around going, I can't find my keys, I can't find my keys, I can't find my keys, it's very hard to see your keys.
Yeah.
So if you say, thank you, angels, for finding my keys, thank you for showing me where my keys are, they can knock them off the table. And so they're encouraging us more and more to ask for anything and everything. There is nothing too small and mundane. There is nothing too big. There is no order of magnitude for angels. And they want to add that they're infinite beings. So there's no need for us to feel like my asking takes away from anybody else on the planet. They can help all of us simultaneously.
Do you have like a few angels that you know come specifically for you, or is it a gang?
It definitely feels like a collective. So when I see angels, which is not very often, they're more like points of light. And I do work with different angels from the ones that most people are familiar with. So I'm not working with Archangel Michael or Archangel Raphael. They're angels who are here specifically to help humanity rise up in consciousness to a whole new experience of life on this planet. So I don't see specific angels, but I do sometimes I hear a whole bunch of them saying things all at once. And sometimes I hear one very strong thing. And they want to add that we all have so many angels, legions of angels. And some of them are ancestors, right? Beloved ones who've passed on, or even beloved pets who've passed on. Some of them are what some would call guides or starseeds. Some of them are beings that are not in physical right now, who we've had relationships with in other lifetimes, soul family. And many of them are, I think of them as the hands and eyes and ears of the divine, right? They're out there enabling divine intent to unfold.
Right now also there's a lot of talk about, because there are so many awakening, and there are so much to find on the internet, and of course we have the pure energy, but then we also have a shadow side that you can connect to. And there are a lot of talk I know about the importance, of course, to finding that, like the pure energy that's for our highest good. Can you feel at times that there's like another fallen angel, let's say, trying to knock on your door? And can you feel the difference? And if so, if someone were to start to have this, how will they recognize when this is like the truth, or this is more someone tricking me?
So I don't have an experience of fallen angels. I do have experience of, let's say, other influences. The angels really want to diminish the potency that we give to them because really the answer to everything is divine unconditional love. So when we feel like there's some sort of trickster or dark energy in our space, all we ever have to do is thank you, angels, for surrounding this being with love. And some beings will instantly shift into that energy of love, and the others will just leave because they don't like it. It's yucky. They get out of there. So,
Mhm.
so there's that. In terms of knowing what is our guidance or what is our angels talking to us, it's different in different situations. It's very situation specific, and it's very specific to each of us. So the angels speak to each of us in a language we will understand. So it may not be the same for me as it would be for you.
Mm.
In fact, often they'll show us an image or a memory of something that is akin to what we're experiencing in that moment. So if you're sitting with somebody who's trying to sell you something and you were fooled by somebody in the past who sold you something that was junk, they may show you that piece of junk or that person's face who sold you that as a sort of symbolic indication of what's going on in the moment. If you have something that you never thought you needed, but it's become your very favorite gadget in the kitchen, and they show you that, that's also a sign, right? That
Yeah.
you're being shown something that you will actually enjoy. So our guidance can feel joyful and inspiring and delicious, like it's calling us forward, like, ooh, energy, enthusiasm, excitement, let's go this way. But it also can have what we call in the book of coarseness. So oftentimes it doesn't feel positive or negative, exciting or depressing. It feels very neutral. It feels very, "Ah, of course it's that." So we like to call that of
Mm.
courseness. When it has that, in fact, it makes sometimes my inner 8-year-old go, "Duh, I knew that." Which I love because it's like, "Oh, of course, that feels so obvious and clear to me now." I really feel the truth of that throughout my body, like, and sometimes, often, when we're receiving our guidance, we may feel relief, like, we may feel physically lighter, like the weight of the world just got taken off our shoulders.
Mm.
Or we go from kind of being all crunched in and contracted and maybe even in fetal position to, oh, our shoulders open up and we can breathe better. And so we expand. And these are the very clear body signs that are our guidance, actually, when we feel that something is yucky and we're just, ugh, that is a no. And when something feels yummy, that is a yes.
Mm.
Lighter is yes, heavier is no. And so the angels are asking us to really tune into our body because our mind sees the world through filters. We have
Mm.
some belief systems, things we picked up from our parents or the TV or whatever it may be, any religion we grew up in. But our body doesn't have those filters. Our body will give us the unfiltered truth of the moment. So when you're talking to somebody and the hairs on the back of your neck stand up and you're like, "Ugh," that is a definite no. That
Yeah.
is a no, thank you. And they want to add that when something is a no, it isn't necessarily a no, never, ever. That is bad and wrong. Get it away from me and off the planet. Sometimes it's just not now. Sometimes it's about timing. So
Mm.
have to do all that mental math of trying to figure out why this thing I thought I wanted is a no.
Mm.
It might just be that it's a no in 3 weeks. I mean, it's a yes in 3 weeks, but it's a no right now. So the
Yeah.
more we can start to trust that and not second guess or demand explanations, just the happier we'll be. And I'm speaking from experience as one who has second guessed a million times and looked for proof that I'm really going the right way and the angels really said that. And yes, they will give us more and more proof. They will bring us butterflies and white feathers and all the things, all the signs and symbols. And they're asking us to practice living more and more in trust of the divine.
Yes, practice and stay open and aware. I just had this, and it's a long story, so I'm just shorten it. But I was going from the north of Sweden down to where I lived on the west coast, and I had two options traveling. And one, I could feel my body light and all joyful. The other one, not, but it was shorter and it was quicker. My brain, because I was in a hurry, it went in and took over. And I could feel myself stepping on the train, like, I really should take the other one, but this one is sure. I will be home at 6 o'clock. And on the way, an accident happened and we were stranded for several hours. So I got home at 11 o'clock. I was like, I know this. I know I work with this. I coach this. And still, when I got stressed, I was like, no, no, let's go with the logic. So, yeah, to be open and aware.
They gave you that perfect story to be able to share with people. And I have an almost identical story of when they were training me to listen to my guidance, where I
Yeah,
was sitting in a parking lot. I had just had lunch and I was going to go out the exit that was like 20 feet away. And they said, no, drive all the way through the parking lot, over the speed bumps, past the crosswalks, and go out the other way because the traffic light was broken, that I was going to go out on that side. And I
yeah,
sat there for like 10 minutes as the signal went through and let everybody else go, but I never got a green light.
yeah,
I was like, that's why you told me to go the other way.
yeah. Good lesson. So what are your plans now? Are you going to write a second book now? Because you're not doing individual coaching.
I am not. So,
Yeah.
unlike most coaches who write a book who are looking to get more clients, I'm actually looking to make this information as accessible as possible to people. So, rather than paying, $375 an hour to work with me, you can pay $30 US and have everything you need. I mean, this book has been energetically attuned by the angels to dissolve limiting beliefs, dissolve subconscious programming. We call all that stuff gunk. We joke you could put it under your pillow and you would get the same benefit as if you read it, but it's more fun to actually read it. But every chapter starts with words and a picture that we call angel attunements that dissolve that gunk from your system. So the first book is about receiving your divine guidance, feeling the angel's love, learning how to be love for yourself first and work with your emotions. And yes, I am writing more books. So my beloved Paul jokes that I'm having triplets
Yeah.
because the first book is about receiving your divine guidance and feeling the angel's love. The next book is all about relationships with the divine, with yourself, with other people.
Mm.
The third book will be about money and work. So there's an endless supply of really ways to deliver the same message, but more situations and more nuances to it to help unlock the stuff that's getting in people's way.
Mm. Lovely. And I should say that I will put the link to where you can find your book in the credits here. And is it both a book and ebook or?
Yes. So it's a
Yeah.
paperback or an ebook. And we actually have a gift for your listeners. If
Yes.
you could put a link to that, that would be great. It's an audio and it's about 8 minutes long. It's called Soothing Energy from the Angels. And it's really good whenever you feel triggered or if you're going into an important meeting or you have to go to a family dinner and your family's a little challenging. The angels recommend listening to it. It's at myangelcoach.com/soothing-energy. So if you could include a link, it's a little bit much to remember.
Yes, definitely. Oh, thank you so much. I'm sure everyone would love that too. We all need it at times, for sure.
Oh, yes. And when you're feeling good, it's a great pick me
Yeah.
up and amplifier as well.
Yeah, we shouldn't forget because sometimes we talk, or I shouldn't say we, I say to me, to people when you need more energy and all this, but we also need it when we are in a high vibe to just keep on feeling that high vibe. And it's not just when we are in a dump or.
Exactly.
I'm so happy that you've been here, and I don't want to hold you too long. And I'm going to say that we're going to get into an extended version for all my Substack subscribers. So, is there anything else you want to share with the listeners before we leave here?
Oh, well, the angels would love to tell everyone. So the angels and the divine adore you. They love you exactly where you are on your journey right now. And they are surrounding you with the gentlest, kindest energy of compassion, soothing, nurturing. They are encouraging you to be very gentle with yourself. As Maria said, it's a challenging time on the planet and it's a fertile time on the planet. So the more that you can give yourself space and grace, the more you can enjoy these times that you came for. The angels want you to know that you really chose at a soul level to be here right now because this is the time of great transformation. And so thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of the up-leveling, not in a judgmental way, but in a empowering, awakening, feeling connected to the divine kind of way. You are here being the change. You are doing it. Every little shift you make, every moment that you're able to find peace or joy or compassion for yourself or others is incredibly powerful. So thank you. Thank you for being you. Thank you for being here now. We love you.
Oh, thank you. That was beautiful. And thanks to the angels for sharing that message. So true. Yeah, I really got goosebumps when you were talking.
Gorgeous.
So thank you so much, Sue, for being part of this podcast, this first part.
Oh, it's been a delight. Thank you.
You have been listening to Meditation Jam with Maria Rinné, and I am so grateful that you have joined today with your energy. If you liked it, please remember to subscribe, hit the like button, and leave a review if there was something specific that you enjoyed. And you will find more links in the text below from my guests and also to my social media if you like to follow me there. So thank you again for joining, and I hope you have a beautiful day, week and month. Satnam.